I wanted to ask about matching up with editors. Do you take into consideration the personality of the editor versus the personality of your author? Because, these things happen. We hear about where an editor and an author don't get along for whatever reason, and then that can really blow up a project or create issues down the road. Do you take steps to mitigate that ahead of time? How much can you tell us without revealing your secrets?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it really is like a matchmaking process. I'm sort of a yenta. And I think that part of the reason agents like to meet face to face with editors as much as they can is that you do kind of glean some sense of their personality and get a sense for whether, two people would be a good match. And so, yeah, I definitely take those things into consideration. It's not particularly, it comes into play particularly if you're lucky enough to have a project that goes to auction and there are 2 or 3 editors bidding or more, and then you really have to think about those things, because at that point you're not trying to decide whether you're going to have a home for the book or not. You're trying to decide, which is the best possible home for that book. So that's when I often will really think hard about whether the personality is a good match. But I think I'm thinking about that at some level, even when I'm formulating a submission list. Yes.
And when you're submitting, are you keeping your authors informed every step of the way, or do you let them decide how informed they want to be? How do you handle that?
Yeah, I think that it's pretty important to make sure that that clients are kept informed about what's going on with their own work. So I'm pretty transparent about sharing submission lists with my clients before I go on submission. I think that's really something that all agents should do. Because I also often find that my clients, because they often will attend conferences and make connections separate from me, it's important for me to know whether they have further ideas to add to a submission list. So it's really a collaborative process at the end of the day. So I'll share submission lists, and then I also share responses when they come in. Absolutely.
And then, since I assume everybody that's watching or listening to this is immediately going to send you a query, and the numbers tell us that probably they won't all get you to represent them. Some of them are going to have to go and look elsewhere. What are the best ways for authors to go about evaluating literary agents? If you had to seek out a literary agent other than yourself, what kind of criteria would you be using? What are the red flags you'd be looking for?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that there are lots of resources online to kind of go through a checklist of how to distinguish an agent from what we fondly or not so fondly call a schmagent. Schmagent being somebody who just kind of hangs up a shingle, but maybe doesn't have much experience or even really understand how to be an ethical agent. Certainly, you need to make sure that they're not going to be charging commission higher than the standard commission rate. They certainly, I mean, this is absolutely should not be charging any kind of reader's fee. And you want to have a conversation with them before signing on any kind of dotted line to make sure that their kind of larger philosophy and even personality is going to be a good fit with your own. You want to ask questions like what's your communication style? How frequently will we be in touch? How editorially driven are you as an agent? And if you're looking for someone who can really help you develop your work, then that's something you should be looking for. If you'd rather postpone that to getting an editor on board, then maybe that's not something you're looking for. So, you just need to make sure that you know what your priorities are and do the research to get matched up. And I think some of the ways that it's that I've heard from clients that they've found to narrow down that master list of dream agents is attending conferences. You can often meet up with agents personally there and hear what they're all about. Listening to podcasts like this one. You can also look at the Association of Authors Representatives and see who are members and who aren't. That can be kind of a good litmus too, whether somebody's an agent or a schmagent. So those are some of the things off the top of my head. Somebody also told me that you can search agents' names in quotation marks on Amazon, and the agents, that search will bring up any mention of that agent in an acknowledgments page, and that can help you figure out which agents represent what, which I thought was kind of a cool tip. But of course, if you are a publisher's marketplace member and you can get a free membership for the first 3 months or something like that, you can find out all that information too, what deals particular agents have struck with which editors.